I have a new project. So for a while now, I've been dabbling with this idea that I want to create a deck of cards, and not just any deck of cards, but I was looking for this concept of own personal mythology. So the idea is essentially to be able to put all of these creative ideas, creative thoughts, and situations that did occur and did not occur, mythical creatures, and have them all live in a deck of cards. So I have finished the first card already, but in this video I basically want to share a bit about the process, a bit about the thinking behind writing, coming up with ideas, brainstorming, finding references and combining these references into one, and just share a bit of the thought process behind each card and basically thinking, what does each card truly mean? Or, you know, in a world where endless possibilities are out there, what does it actually apply to yourself? So let's begin. So I started off with just scribbling, essentially, instead of going from a particular idea where I write things down and then try to draw it. I went every way around and just let my hand do its own thing and draw a few things and see what comes out. And I started off with this kind of ball-shaped figure, and then an idea of wings came into mind. So part of this exercise is to riddle the drawings with as much symbolism as I wanted to. And for this particular one, I had the idea of freedom, the idea of being free as a bird, and, you know, golden wings in general. Like, this is a super strong symbol. The other idea was to have it in a size that you could fit it in your hand. So essentially, you maybe a bit bigger than a playing card, but like something that you could just hold it. And I used 300 grams mixed media paper for this in particular. And yeah, just cut up this paper into 3 pieces, and that was the idea for the first 3 ones. I started off with transferring my initial sketches, of course paying a little more attention to the details, and trying to get those symbols together. I did not use any particular references for this drawing as such. I looked at a bunch of statue figures actually for the wings, and the eye, I mean, like, the eye is, once you draw it a few times, it kind of goes the same way. I was going for this particular feel with this, so the idea was to have kind of like a mythical creature that is flying around. It should be small, it should be light, it's something that is very free, it should be relatively fast. But then when picking the colors, I wanted to have kind of like a good mood behind, but the creature itself is slightly different. So I picked the color purple, kind of going for this thick skin, and even though it's free, it is some sort of disturbed look, right? So it feels like when you're looking at the card that you've disturbed the creature itself, and now you caught its attention and it's looking back at you. So that was the idea for the first card. Now for the second card, I had something slightly different in mind. In particular, I had the image of the plague doctor mask stuck in my head. And this time I did use some references. I looked up some images on Sketchfab, and I was basically just looking for this 3D image that I could rotate in different angles and kind of try to create this image of plague doctor. For me, at the time, I was sick when drawing this one, so it was very much connected with that feeling, hence the plague doctor itself. I picked some more dramatic colors as such, which I will get to in a moment, but essentially it was kind of looking back to the times of, you know, back in 2020, when you had to isolate yourself, when you had to keep distance, and yeah, things can change really, really rapidly once you get sick. I chose a color palette that was mostly comprised of red and black, kind of to symbolize the intensity, also, you know, getting this dramatic look, you know, the contrast between these two colors. And it's probably worth mentioning as well, I'm using acrylic paint for these drawings, and I just had a starter kit, so I'm still sort of discovering and learning how to use acrylic paints, but so far it's been quite a nice experience, and I also like using it on mixed media paper. And this leads us to the final card. This was more connected to the symbol of lantern. I had this specific idea as well for this one, kind of a lantern for me and is something that brings light in a moment of darkness. And I looked up a bunch of pictures of lanterns or Unsplashed and just tried out a few, picked the one that I liked the most and went with it. I had quite a specific color palette in mind. Again, I wanted to have a storm in the background, so I picked this kind of grayish, slightly darker blue, and the lantern with this yellow soft light that is reflecting and sort of guiding somewhere, maybe bringing light in a moment of darkness. I guess what comes as a surprise the most is this inner judgment that comes out when you're trying to do something without any constraints, when you're trying to just let it go and let your creativity flow, let your mind go wild and create anything. It feels as if there's a natural tendency to look for these constraints. At least that's what I get in my head. And of course, there's this inner judgment voice that constantly comes in and is just trying to criticize you and say, like, is this good enough? What is the purpose? Why are you doing this? And maybe sometimes not everything needs to have a purpose. Maybe the purpose is just to create. Thank you so much for watching. These were the first 3 cards. I will try to do an episode here and there, creating more cards, and the idea is to create a full deck. Now, how many cards that is, we shall find out. I haven't decided yet, and there's a bunch of more details that I want to work out, namely, each card should have a name, so there will be a bit of thinking to do there. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.